Hi guys, my name's Courtney Island. I'm 22 and I'm from the Gold Coast. You might be thinking, why am I creating this blog? And just to put it out there that I am creating it to boost awareness, boost knowledge, share techniques that I've used that have helped, techniques that haven't helped, and also just to create a talk within the community about mental health. What made me want to do a blog is to express what's been going on in my life within the past 12 months, how I've been dealing with my anxiety, and just to let you guys know that we're all only human and it is okay to feel these way. So recently I lost my mum to suicide in September at the end of last year, and my life changed ever since then. Not to make it sound over dramatic or anything like that, but my mum came across like your everyday person. She definitely held some demons back. I knew she always tried her best when it came to Montana and I, making sure ends met. We had the best childhood. We went camping, we were at the beach every weekend. Everything was fine until my dad decided to come into the whole concept of things. It took a toll on everybody that was involved, going to court, having to miss school because of it. I ended up moving out of my mum's house when I was 15, moved in with my grandparents only because I could see that I wasn't going to have the best few years leading up to graduating high school if I stayed in the house with my mum. It wasn't just to be selfish with myself, putting my own health, my own mental health first. That was not an easy decision to make at 15. It broke my mum's heart, it broke my heart, but I knew that it would be for the best, and I love and adore my mum to this day still, but I just had to put myself first, and that is perfectly okay. So I guess this is where my life started really shuffling, changing, things that I had an eye-opener up to now, and it's not the best story. If you don't want to listen, that's fine, but this is what happened to me. Since my dad started coming to the picture, my mum started drinking more, her anxiety was through the roof. She would start texting us late at night, calling us late at night. She just was not coping at all. I suppose the best way I could put how my mum was changing was like a vampire effect. She was perfectly fine during the day. She always did her clients' hair. She was always bubbly, everything during the day. But the second it came to nighttime, alcohol was involved. She got anxious when she went to bed. She had to take tablets, and that's when it all just started changing around. My mum got herself 2 dogs, and that really helped her with being alone, something she could look after, something she could take care of, which was great that she was doing something about it. And I also thought it was great that she was going to the doctor and talking to them with how she was feeling, but that just isn't enough. She dosed up her medication, she kept drinking, it just kept building and building and building. It got to the point where neighbours started getting involved, and my mum did live in a complex, so anything that happened within there, people definitely knew about it. My mum was a very loud lady and she is very independent, and I love that about her, but when it came to voicing her opinion, there was just no end line. Once I got my license, I tried visiting my mum at least twice a fortnight. If not twice, then once a fortnight. But if any of you know how hard it is to keep in contact, keep loving somebody that is so hard to love, you just got to put yourself behind and understand that they've got a mental illness going on. Nobody else was there for her but me by the end of it, because I just kept persevering. She would say things, I would put it behind me because I understood this had just taken over her completely, and that vampire effect. I stopped talking to her at night times. I made sure I visited her during the day at lunchtime, not in the afternoon really, just to make sure that she was in a good headspace, that she'd have a good day, and I didn't leave it to the moment she started to have her afternoon Chardonnay. It all got too much in one house that she actually moved to a different area, which was amazing. It got her into a new headspace. She found it was a lot nicer and nobody was interrupting her, until she was finding it hard to maintain the house. There was a pool and she wasn't used to looking after a pool. There was things breaking in the house, so she contacted the agents to try and get it fixed and nothing would get done. She felt like she was asking for too much when she said, oh, but this is broken, this is broken. The owner didn't want to renew her lease. And when the crunch came, my mum always reached out to me for help when it came financially, whether it came to where she needed to move to. I always put my name down to help her, to get her recognised, because she did work from home as a hairdresser and she found it really hard to get a job in a shop, getting out of the house, because her anxiety was that bad. So I always made sure that I could try and help her where I could, especially when it came to where she could live, because it's not easy having to do that stuff on your own. So by this point, when she'd moved into a new house and she was stressing about where the next place she was going to live because the owner wasn't going to renew her lease, she was sleeping in till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She wasn't having breakfast. She might have had dinner. She always had food for the animals, but when I opened the fridge, there was hardly anything there for her. There was a lot of alcohol, like vodka and wine in the fridge, but never any food. I did give her money for groceries to go shop with, but when somebody has an addiction like alcohol, you can't just change anybody. That's my mum. She's her own adult. I know deep down that I did what I had to for her. And then one day I received a phone call from my mum's best friend to say a client had gone over to mum's house to try and get her hair done, but nobody was responding. My Oma went over in the morning to give my mum a note, because we were also moving at the same time. So we had a few things of mum at our house and we needed to sort out where we were going to locate it. Nobody had heard from her all day. So I just said to my mum's best friend that I would go down and have a look. Previous to this, I had called the ambulance services to do a wellness check about 2 years ago. I didn't want to do that again because the police got involved and it just wasn't a nice experience for my mum, so I didn't want to do that again. From that point, I got in my car. I was like, don't worry, I'll just drive down to mum's. I'll just check and see what she's up to. I knew that she'd been getting worse and worse when it came to responding, but I thought it was really weird that she wasn't responding to her clients, because she was so reliable when it came to hairdressing. That was her passion. That's all she ever did. And I just thought it was really weird. So I got to my mum's house and her car was still out the front. Everything was like perfect. My mum was tidy, neat. Not what I am, if you can see my bed. But I went to go through the front door because I was the only one with a spare key. So I went through the front door and there was like a blockage behind it. I was like, oh, okay, no worries, I'll just push it behind. I knew mum was scared, so I thought, you know, she's just put this up in case the dogs bark or whatnot. So I'm walking through the house and I could see like the dog and the cat have been inside for a little while, because there was feces on the ground and I was just really confused. I was like, maybe mum's gone for a walk, I don't know. But my gut feeling just did not feel right. I was walking around the house like calling out her name and nothing. So then I walked back to the front door. I stood there and I was just like, no, I'll give her a call in case she's like 5 minutes around the corner. So I'm calling her mobile and I can hear it inside the house. So I was so confused, literally so confused. I walked back in, had a look around, I'm like, what is going on? Am I crazy? Or I just don't understand. So I went back to the front door and I called my mum's best friend and I was just like, hey, I don't know what's going on. Like, everything's here, but I just, there's nothing there. She's like, have you checked everywhere? And I was like, oh, there's a laundry cupboard. And I was like, it's just got laundry stuff in it. She was like, have you checked outside? And she was like, are you by yourself? And I was like, oh, yeah, nothing new. To me, nothing new, because I had dealt with these ignoring situations for quite some years. And to me, I was like, I know how to deal with this. It's my mum. Like, she's cool. And I'm on the, she says, oh, please don't get off the phone with me. Just stay on the phone in case, like, I don't know, anything's happened. And she was like, check out in the backyard. So I've walked out and I've opened the screen and I've witnessed my mum outside, and I went into shock mode. There was nothing I could say. I just kept saying, oh, that's my mum, but I'd done surf life saving. I'd done my bronze medallion courses in first aid, but I knew there was nothing I could do. My first reaction, guys, we all think that we're super warriors and we all think that we can plan for these things, and you can't. I literally turned around, shut the door, walked out the front, on the phone to my mum's best friend, and just could not talk. I was on the front lawn and nobody was there with me. It was just me. There was nothing I could do but wait for the ambulance to come. So I sat there on the phone to my mum's best friend and I said to her, look, I've got to go. I've got to call my family. So I was calling my family. I thought I was going to faint. Like, I couldn't even fathom what was going on. I was trying to call everybody. Nobody was answering. I saw the ambulance come and I had to let them into the house and show them where she was. And I suppose the hardest part was when I was contacting everybody, nobody was answering. I forgot what day it was. I was calling my best friends. The ambulance lady was like, is there anybody that can come to you right now? I was like, I'm trying to call everybody, but everybody has their own shit going on and I can't reach anybody. And I personally did not know what to say to my friends, how to say it to anybody, what just happened to me, because you don't think that will ever happen to you, that it will ever happen, that you are the one to have to find that by yourself. And that was about the hardest day, night, afternoon I've ever had in my life. Once I had all the police checks, all the questions asked, I got in my car. I was too afraid to drive home by myself. So I had my grandma drive in the car with me. We got back home and I could not sleep. I couldn't sleep one bit, and I just sat there thinking, how can I go to sleep knowing that my mum won't wake up? Like, there's just not one thing that will get her to wake up, and what if I don't wake up? Like, that's how easily it can be taken away from you. And we just knew that this whole process, it was just a big lead up, and unfortunately this is what happened. I knew how much stress my mum was under, which is why I was always there trying to help her, trying to sell things, trying to get rid of things, but that wasn't enough. You can't keep someone here knowing that they're in pain mentally, and you can't fix them without them reaching out for help. With all this going on, I had to maintain my mental health. My mental health then got put in the biggest, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where to begin. I didn't know what to say to my boss. I didn't know what I could do, who I could reach out to, because I was scared people would judge if I was to tell them exactly what I just told you guys. I knew I wasn't going to be alone because my friends were contacting me every hour, every minute of the day. I had Lifeline appointments to attend to make sure that from what I had saw, because I was the only one that had seen my mum in that state, that I was okay and that I did not have any feelings to do something like that to myself. So from that point onward, I had two options to pick in life. I either stuck in that sick way, down, depressed, not happy with what was going on in my life, having no motivation, just staying in bed all day, weeping, crying, and not trying to boost myself up. Or I got off my butt, I got up to work, I made sure that I was talking to somebody. I was being proactive with what I was doing in my life. I was telling people how I was feeling. I got myself out there, signed myself up for a gym. I wasn't afraid to contact anybody because I knew that my mum didn't talk to anybody about how she felt. And I know a lot of people go through life not expressing how they're feeling, and they feel like they are the only ones going through it. For me, the biggest part of this was getting over that image, getting over my anxiety of being alone, being able to be strong-minded when I would drink. When it came to alcohol, I was stressed. I was like, is something going to happen to me? Because my mum would drink heaps and I don't want to end up that way. So I started cutting back, watching what I was eating, making sure I was putting my health, both physical and mental, first. Nothing will ever prepare you for something like this. You have to have the right support group system in place when it comes to your friends, your family, your workplace, when you deal with situations that make you feel like, shit, what am I gonna do? Everyone in this life matters. You matter. That's why we have places on the Gold Coast where you live, over the phone 24-hour hotlines to talk to somebody. I thought that I was strong enough that I didn't have to talk to anybody because I thought people would judge me for going to a psychologist. It is the best thing that I have ever done. Whether I talk about what happened with my mum, whether I talk about how my week was going, if I had a shitty day, if the weather was crap, anything that came to my mind that either made it a good week, that I focused on what better I could be doing, but making sure I wasn't that hard on myself that I doubted everything that I did. We have places here, guys, for us like Lifeline, Beyond Blue, Headspace. You can access online apps like Smile, and the Headspace app is great. Calm, help you meditate. So to try and end this blog on a little note, you guys matter, I matter, we all matter. So if you want to keep watching this blog on how I've used techniques to deal with what I've seen, what I've been going through, what people have said, please stick around and listen if you think you're gonna help yourself benefit from it. We're not alone, and I don't want you guys to feel alone. We all deserve somebody to make us feel loved and cared for, and I'm here for you guys if that's what you need. So please write comments, message me. If you want to go for a walk, let's go for a walk. We can go by the beach. We can do anything. Put yourself first because you matter. So I will talk to you guys again shortly. I hope you all have a lovely night, a lovely day. Be thinking of you all. Don't think you're alone. Reach out if you want to, and I will talk to you guys soon.